Why is there such a crazy push to get rid of A.J. Brown? It's simple, because they know if the Eagles have a good offseason, everybody's in trouble. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, Kick Dig back here. So the Eagles are getting ready for the combine, free agency. Things are about to pick up. I'm pumped up. It looks like everything is starting to fall in place. Yet, there continues to be a push to try to trade A.J. Brown. They will go at no depths, and I believe it's the NFL. I believe it's the Dallas Cowboys. I believe it's a conspiracy to get A.J. Brown off the Eagles, because I've never seen such a ridiculous push for no reason by non-Eagle fans and the media. It's crazy. We're going to get all into it in a second because, quite frankly, I'm a little frustrated with the whole thing, all right? But first, a few things we've got to talk about. Lane Johnson, and we did a video on this, the end of last week, saying he was returning. So to me, this was not breaking news, breaking mother humping news, but it is news that is official. Jeff McClain wrote this. Lane Johnson just told me he's officially returning for the 14th season with the Pound Eagles. Having the future Hall of Fame right tackle will be key as head coach Nick Sirianni, that cannoli-eating guy, alters the offense under new offensive coordinator Sean Mannion in 2026. The Eagles will also have a new O-line coach after Stoutland resigned earlier this month. Johnson will lead that group and had only one positional coach in the NFL. Chris Kuper will be taking over responsibilities as the scheme is likely to change. Johnson missed the final 8 games, blah, blah, blah. We know all that about Lane Johnson. So he is going to return. Everybody can take a breath. He should be fine. I assume he'll be fine. I mean, the one thing about Lane Johnson is I don't think you've seen fall off from his play. He got injured. He gets banged up a little more now that he's older. But I don't think his play has fallen off. And quite frankly, we need him. We need him desperately. And I think one of the key things that had to fall into place, because to me there are a few things, there's 3 or 4 things that have to fit into place for the Eagles to have a chance to repeat. Yes, repeat. Yes, repeat. Okay, I know, because I get it all the time. Oh, you Eagle fan, or you're just such a homer, and the Eagles could do no wrong. They do wrong, I tell you they do wrong. When they do right, I try to tell you they do right. When I like something, I tell you. If I don't, I try to keep it a buck. Okay, maybe I always look at the glass half full. I can't help that. That's just the way I am. I see the positives in things and how things can go good, not how they could go bad. There's a billion ways things can go bad, but there's a tons of ways things could go good. And going good, here's another thing I think is important. Landon Dickerson is expected to return to the Eagles this season as well. The key with Dickerson and Cam Jurgens, obviously, is going to be health. Are they healthy? And, how healthy can they be next year? And how much can they get back to what they were? Is losing Stoutland going to be a bigger issue for us? Quite possibly. Who knows? But if you look at it on paper and you assume, and yes, I'm looking at it half full. That's what I do. But if Jurgens comes back and he can be healthy, and if Landon Dickerson comes back and he's healthy, and Lane Johnson is healthy and can return to the form that he was, then all of a sudden, this offensive line is pretty damn good again. I still think you need to go out and get another right guard. I think Steen is just okay. Becton is expected, there's news breaking yesterday, that Becton is expected to be released. So he is an option. I don't know that it helps us with Stoutland. I feel like Stoutland needs to be there for Becton. But obviously fixing the offensive line, I think fixing the offensive line is the key to the offseason, to be quite honest with you. And I don't think you need to go out and fix the offensive line in free agency. I mean, if you could get a stud guard that could come in and right away, fine. But I'm looking more long term in terms of trying to get young guys for the future on this team at offensive line. I mean, it's a big deal that these guys are all coming back. You realize that we could have been looking at if Lane retired, if Jurgens could never come back from his injury, and if Dickerson retired, you could be looking at almost a brand new offensive line, except for Mulata, because I think they're going to replace Steen. So it's crazy. These are a big deal. People think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, I think things are falling into place the way they need to. Now, on paper is not the same thing as on the field. But I do think right now things are trending in the right direction for the Eagles. How they handle off-season free agency, how that goes, will play a huge part of it. And one of the things that just can't happen, okay, in my opinion, and it won't happen, is A.J. Brown will not be traded. If A.J. Brown gets traded, I will shave my head live. That's how sure I'm sure it ain't happening. A.J. Brown is staying. He needs to stay. And as soon as it kind of came out with, that A.J. Brown was going to stay and they weren't trying to trade him, as soon as that broke, now you're getting a flood of mock trades for A.J. Brown. And then A.J. Brown goes on a podcast, with the Patriots guys, and he winks, joking around. He ain't serious. And everybody's trying to make it like, yeah, the Eagles are going to trade him to the Patriots. They're not trading him. All right, Derek Gunn came out with that information that he ain't going nowhere. And the Eagles don't want to. As soon as it happened, can't people see how all of a sudden we got flooded with A.J. Brown trade talk again? Flooded with it. Because they don't want to let it die. They can't afford to have the Eagles keep A.J. Brown and then all of a sudden take the handcuffs off Jalen Hurts to find out that, yes, he is the quarterback we think he is. And now you're all in trouble. They're worried about it, okay? And this, I got to share this because this is crazy. But before I do it, I might need a nap. And to get a nap, I'm going to have to take one right here. Check this out. Yo, everybody, first off, a big thanks to Bear Mattress for sponsoring this video. Head to bearmattress.com/Philly500 and use code Philly500 to get 40% off your mattress. That's 40% off your mattress using promo code Philly500. Now, I've had my Bear Elite Hybrid mattress, which is a queen size, medium firmness, for about 2 weeks, and man, it has changed everything. I share a bed with my wife, the boss, and I love to sleep on my side, and I wanted something a little more supportive but comfortable. And with the mattress, I have no more tossing and turning. I fall asleep faster, I wake up feeling fresh, and those nagging backaches, they're gone. They've been gone. And my favorite part of the whole thing, it sleeps cooler thanks to their sleep recovery technology with Cellulant fabric. It's fiberglass free for better health and certified without harmful chemicals and no weird smells. Their sleep quiz makes it easy picking based on my habits. It's ship free, rolled in a box, and set up no time at all. It was easy. Now, Bear's survey of over 300 customers shows an 82% better sleep quality. 95% of the people would recommend it, including me. With this limited lifetime warranty and 120-night free trial, it's a no-brainer. I love my Bear mattress, and you will too. Go to bearmattress.com/Philly500. Use promo code Philly500 for 40% off. That's 40% off just using promo code Philly500. That's better than their on-site deals. Just tell them I sent you post-purchase survey. Shout out to Bear Mattress. Thank you for sponsoring this video. Now that I've had my nap and I feel refreshed, we can talk about this, right? The mock drafts are coming hard and heavy, and some of these are just crazy. The Dogs, a Cleveland Browns podcast, they wrote this, right? Jeremy Fowler listed the Browns as a trade partner that makes sense for the Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown. Now, in the mock trade by Fowler, he's suggesting that the Eagles get pick number 24, a first-round pick, 24th overall. That would give the Eagles the 23rd and 24th pick. I'm sorry. There's no chance the Eagles are going to get a first-round pick for him. Not that A.J. Brown isn't talented. Not that A.J. Brown isn't good. But A.J. Brown's what, 29 years old? It costs the Eagles a ton in cap to get rid of him. I don't know. Here's the hypothetical trade offer, right? Jeremy Fowler offers the Eagles 2026 first-round pick. The Eagles get the 2026 first-round pick, number 24, and they get Brown. And then he says, this makes sense. The Browns have 2 first-round picks, number 6 and 24. After the Travis Hunter trade in April 2025, they could use number 6 on the offensive lineman and send 24 to Eagles in exchange for Brown. This would immediately upgrade new head coach Todd Monken's offense, giving a passing game a fighting chance along an already stout defense. If A.J. Brown cries and complains and gets frustrated with the Eagles, what do you think is going to happen in Cleveland? It would be a train wreck. There's no shot. All right, and this isn't the only one. I mean, it doesn't end. It doesn't end. The amount of, to me, what I see is I see the media and I see other fans want the Eagles to break apart. They want them to fall apart. Not just because they don't like the Eagles, because we don't care about that. But I think the Eagles are the biggest threat to a lot of teams in the NFC, especially the NFC. I think the biggest threat to the Seattle Seahawks are the Philadelphia Eagles. Why? Because the Eagles have a lot of young defensive players, and that defense is only going to get better. And if they get some competent coaching on offense, they're stacked. They're absolutely stacked. I mean, here's the thing. Like, when Kellen Moore was there, and Kellen Moore was competent, he didn't get to do everything he wanted to do. But look at what the offense did. Look how they ran the ball. Look at what Barkley did. Look what the offense did. Look what Hurts did in the Super Bowl. Now, you get an offensive coordinator in here, and we're going to find out. There's question marks about the offensive coordinator we have. Absolutely. However, he's looked on very highly. I can't wait to hear him talk and see what he's got to say. However, listen, if this offense takes off, there's no stopping this team. If this offense is a top 12 to 15, I think if they're even in the top 13, 14, and they're good in the red zone like they were a year ago, I don't think anybody's beating them, because I think this defense is only going to get better. I think Jordan Davis is only getting better. I think Jalen Carter will be back healthy next year. I think Jalen Hunt is continuing to develop. I think you got young linebackers in Jahad Campbell. I think Jeremiah Trotter can play and start if he needs to, but you still got Zach Baun, who is very, very good. It would be nice to keep Nakobe Dean. And then you look at Q and you look at Cooper DeJean. You've got 2 literally stud corners. How many people can say that? This team is very close to going back. They just got to get a few things right. Now, everybody's going to say the Achilles heel is Jalen Hurts. I don't believe that. I believe Jalen Hurts takes the heat for Nick Sirianni putting the handcuffs on him. And I believe when you take the handcuffs off Jalen Hurts, I think he is going to win even more games, and I think that the offense is going to be even more dangerous. Time will tell. I could be totally wrong. And you know what? If I am, I'll be the first to admit it, as always. But I think everybody is legitimately scared of the Eagles, and they'll do anything to break up A.J. Brown and get him off this team, and it's just not happening. That's my rant. I had to get that off my chest. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it. You know, we can't forget tight end. A lot of people are saying that Kyle Pitts may be a guy the Eagles go after at the tight end position in free agency. I'm okay with that. If they do, however, I still think you need a better tight end. I still think you need a two-way tight end. What I mean by two-way tight end is a tight end that can go out and catch and block. I feel like when you got a guy like Pitts and you put him in, a lot of times it tips off the offense. They know this guy can't block. And unless you're the Eagles and you let Alcantara try to block, he can't block. He can't block anything. My grandmother could get by him, you know. But Kyle Pitts, something to keep in mind. Could be very interesting. With that said, Denzel Washington out. That's all, folks.
The brother screwed us.